Okay, so this is Appendix 1 of the installation and initialization guide. Let's get started. So first and foremost, we'll head to Wildfly getting started. We'll install the Wildfly server first. So this is the Wildfly server. We will extract it and then copy it to the /opt directory. So mv downloads /wildfly final to /opt. And so if we cd into OPT, OPT is basically for installing third-party binaries that are not being installed through the package manager. So the setup that I'm going to show you is only valid for Unix systems, basically Mac OS and Linux. If you're in Windows, figure it out yourself. We'll rename the Wildfly thing to just Wildfly, and we have the server here. Now what we have to do is to clone the Wildfly getting started guide. Wildfly getting started guide. And so if we head here, basically if you have Maven installed on your machine, you can just use this command and clone this project. So I have nothing here in this Java folder, and here we are cloning the project, and it is successfully cloned. Now we will use IntelliJ IDEA to open this thing. It'll take some time. I'm on an old machine which is not that flexible. Okay, so load Maven project and load the Maven scripts so that it indexes all the files and we can start coding on it. Okay, so the IntelliJ setup is complete. Now we have to do some initialization steps for the Wildfly server. So bear in mind, this is the project and the server is different in /opt. We had to /opt cd into Wildfly and then ./bin/standalone.sh. Run this once so that if it needs to do anything, it will do it right now. And to confirm that it is running, head to localhost 8080, and we see that the server is running. Now to access the administration console, what we first have to do is to add a user, add an admin user. So stop this and then execute another script which is also inside the bin, which called the add user sh. Now it will ask you what type of user you want to create, and so you say a management user, and the username of it is going to be whatever you choose, and a password of your choice. And so that is how we create a user. Now if we run the server using the standalone.sh, we should be able to access the administration console with our currently created user. So we will head to localhost 9990, enter the username and the password, and so we are here. The first thing we have to do right now is to, so now we've done a few things. We have initialized the server and we have initialized the project. Now the project is going to be a basic CRUD application whereby it will talk to database, and so for it to be able to connect to a database and perform read and write, we need a JDBC jar basically. So what you can do for that is head to download PostgreSQL JD jar, basically the PG JDBC jar, and then we click on download here. So there are a few options. For Java 6 we download this, for Java 7 we download this, and for Java 8 or any newer versions we download this. And then we can see the jar is here. Okay, so this is one thing. We'll also download the MySQL jar. Choose the operating system, and so I am on Fedora. You guys can choose whatever you are on, and all. So which one do I need to choose? Let's just download this one. Just start my download. Where is my jar basically? Did I choose the wrong thing? Platform independent, a zip archive. Yep, it's a platform independent thing. You open this platform independent thing and then the MySQL connector. Yep, this is the thing. So choose the platform independent thing, it's much easier. So this is the jar. So now we have downloaded the jars. We head to the administration console, deployments, add a new deployment, upload, and then we upload the MySQL one first. Sorry, the PostgreSQL one first. Next, give it a name, the name of the jar, and then click on finish. View deployment, and this is the thing. We upload the other MySQL jar also. So we head to the MySQL, I think, connector jar, head to, where was it, source, no, yep, this one. Next, MySQL J, and the deployment is done. So we uploaded the jar basically. We now head to basically configuration, subsystems, data source and drivers, and we head to we can see they're present here. Now we have to link them in the data sources. So basically add data source, Postgres, this would be the name and this would be the JNDI name, Postgres. What should the driver name be? What should the driver name? Shouldn't it be Postgres? Oh, we have this what we call change, and we choose the jar from here. Now here you define the database you would want your application to connect to. So for example, here let me write Jakarta. That would be the database name, and the DB user would be the user you have configured already, and this would be the password for that. Okay, next, now let me confirm that my pSQL systemctl status of Postgres. It's not running right now. Let me start my PostgreSQL instance. And now if I do this, yup, I'm here. These are all the databases that I have right now, and Jakarta is not here. So create database Jakarta. Okay, and so now if we connect to Jakarta and list all the tables, we don't find any tables here. We come back here, we test our connection. It says connection test successful. Next, and finish. And now it says we need to reload, so now we reload. Yes, reload, and then server successfully reloaded. Close this thing. Okay, so this is complete. The same would go for MySQL. So you come here and then choose MySQL, and then continue on with the setup similarly to what I have done for Postgres, and you shouldn't have any problem. Now we head to this page, and we need to do a few things. First and foremost is we head to Wildfly, connect to PostgreSQL database. So there's a guide, an official guide that we can follow, but we would not follow it entirely. So basically they say generate a project. We've done that already. What we need to do from here is to copy these dependencies so that we can add the JPA to our project, which would provide the ORM for us. So you head to the dependency section, and then you paste everything here. Done. We've pasted this. We reload, and yes, they have been pasted. Now we also have to create this persistence. Yep, we also have to do this add-on. to the Maven compiler thing. Do we have to use the entire thing? Let's just use the entire thing. pom.xml wildfly maven plugin control wildfly maven plugin. Yes, we already have this. It just does not have the add-ons section, so we add the add-ons section in the configuration in the default provisioning info. So here default provisioning info, and you add this add-ons. And yup, this should be done. Now we have to create this persistence.xml file in this directory. Come on. So this is created, and then we create this persistence.xml inside this created directory. And so we envim into this place, and we copy. So basically neovim isn't even necessary. Let me not complicate things more than they are already. Let's reload this. Come on, where's the persistence.xml? It's here. Okay, so we paste it here, and the only thing we need to add here is that the JD, this data source, JTA data source, and this JTA data source is going to be the one we saw in the console, basically this. Okay, so everything is now set up. We went a bit off the rail here in this guide, and let me explain myself why we've done that. We've done that because this guide expects us to provide the database connection URL, the username and the password and the DB name through environment variables. And we have not done that. What we've done basically is in the administration console, we have given it a configuration already, and we just want it to use that configuration. And so right now this file is merely for linking that configuration to this project so that it can use it. Okay, so what we can do basically right now is that if we create an entity file, we would expect that entity to be automatically created inside the project when we run the project, because we have this drop and create thing configured here. Okay, so new and Java class entity, a student entity. what this is going to be is to have that add entity annotation, and let me just zoom in a bit. String name, it will also have a long ID, and the strategy is going to be auto. Let me just format the code. And we create the all args constructor and the no args constructor. Oh, come on. I'm on this new machine and I don't know how to do that. How to do it? Alt N. It's supposed to be let's just do it myself manually. Cons, yep, thing. Generate all args constructor, yep. No args constructor, and getters and setters. Getters and setters for all. It doesn't have to be that much tedious. There's a key that we can press on macOS is Command N. On this Linux machine, I don't know why Control N does not work. But basically, so we have this class right now. We can also configure the table name. So the name is going to be student. Yep, so everything almost works. We come here, we stop the server, and then we let this project run. Add a new configuration for Jboss Wildfly local, and in here in deployment we do the artifacts war exploded. So the thing to note here is war means after the IntelliJ instance has shut down the server running through IntelliJ, the war file will remain in the server, because remember the server is in the OPT, right? And so it would remain there. So basically it would deploy your project there. And war exploded is that it's there temporarily. Once the IntelliJ server shuts down, it would delete the thing from there. So that you can choose any one. Right now we choose war exploded, okay? And then in server we can write down the username and the password for our user, and basically that's it, okay? Okay, and run this. So basically everything has started, and if we now head to this localhost 8080, yep, there was a caching issue, so shift control R should basically do a force reload, and this new application has been deployed. And now if we check our Postgres, the student table has automatically been created, and if we check DT for student, select star from student, it has the name and the ID exactly as we've defined in the student entity. Yep, so that's basically how you do it. Now the thing I want to add extra in here is that in Jakarta 11 they have basically added support for the repository pattern which was normally found in Spring Boot, but now through Jakarta 11 we can basically use that pattern even in Java EE projects. So to do that, what we have to do is let me just reference my notes, which are open source on GitHub. So basically if anyone wants to see that guide, they can come here. And so in the repository of this start guide, I have listed down this. So the new Jakarta 11 features using the repo pattern, what we have to add these two dependencies. Yep, we added here. And then for Hibernate we add that also. So now if we restart this project, like let Maven download all the newly added dependencies, and then now that we have the student entity, basically we can have a repository also. So like student repository, and we can annotate this with add repository, and this will extend the CRUD repository, which will be repositorying the student entity. Come on, why is the student entity and it's long. The primary key of student entity is long. Why is this? The argument cannot be a primitive type. Okay, replace it with long. Good. And so now basically, I suppose in the service, no, in the endpoint section, we have to inject the private student repository, which is a student repository, and then here, instead of doing this /name, what we do is /add, and we remove this. It would then come here and create a student new student entity s.set name Yusuf, and then what we can do is student repository dot save. Yes, and we return s to the user. So basically we can remove this. And supposedly now through the repository pattern, what we can do is like save this new entity into the database, which was previously not that easy. You had to create an entity manager, and through that entity manager you had to do stuff, which is fine if you know how to do it and you've been working with Jakarta or Java enterprise projects previously. But people coming from Spring Boot would have a hard time, and there would be a learning curve. So this basically solves that problem. Now if we run the project again, yep, and this is our API, and our API is hosted on /hello/add. So you reload this /hello/add. Object passed to upsert has an unsaved identifier value. What does that mean? An unsaved identifier value has an ID value that does not match the existing. can we, I think it's related to the long thing, whereby the entity has a primitive long and the repository has a the wrapper long basically. Let's see if that would fix the issue. Yep. It should have added that new record. Yep, it added the new record into the database. And the reason why we're getting this, the heap object reference value here and not the actual JSON of how the object is structured, is because in the endpoints we produce a plain text. We should rather have application JSON here. And now if we rerun this again, supposedly we should have a JSON object returned to us. Yep, and we have a JSON object returned. So if we come here and see, yep, Yusuf is here. Okay, so this basically explains how you can set up a new Java Enterprise project and like get it running just like Spring Boot, and then get on to writing business logic.